We are live. Hello, good morning, depending on where you are. Good evening, salutations. Welcome to Reality After Show. We are talking RuPaul's Drag Race All-Stars Season 10, Episode 3. Now, it is officially here, Week 3. Phillip Solomon from Deal or No Deal Island Season 2, and my man Jeff, how are you today?
I'm doing good. Today I'm coming to you live from Palm Springs, California. I'm out in the desert sun having a good time, but I always have time for reality TV.
Right? How hot is it there right now?
You know, today so far we're good. It's only like 88, so it's like a comfortable warm. It's not like a bad deal at all.
Meanwhile, in Austin, it has been over 100. So here we are. The AC is popping. We are ready to get it going.
Stay cool, man. Stay cool.
Right? All right. So episode 3, what is great is that we finally feel like we know the queens. They're here just long enough. And we go into the episode with our point bracket. Currently in entering the episode, we got Costco, 4 points. Irene the Alien, 4 points. Aja, 3 points. Deja Sky, 1 point. Olivia Lux, 1 point. And our girl, Phoenix, 1 point. So once we get it started again, it's time to give those points out. And I feel like this is where it gets kind of interesting, just a little bit, just to kind of run us through before we break it down. Aja gives her point to Olivia Lux. We got the Nemu, the Vogue house is happening. Phoenix gives her point to Deja Sky. Olivia Lux gives her point to Deja Sky, and Deja Sky gives it back to Olivia Lux. And so at this point, here's where things get kind of spicy between Aja and Olivia Lux. So, Jeff, what are your views on this? Did Olivia Lux play this correctly?
Here's the thing. I think Olivia is shattering my initial impression of her from her first season. I think her first season, she was a bright, shiny, good girl, like, yes, sir, no, yes, ma'am, kind of like energy, right? And she was just lovely, and I really was rooting for her. I feel like there's been enough time away from the show, and she's been performing, and she's been talking to fans and talking to other queens, and I think she's like, if I ever come back, I'm not going to be so nice. I don't know why you would do that on purpose. If that's naturally your evolution, great. But I feel like if you're coming back to be like, I'm going to prove a point because I will stand up for myself even when it's stupid. I will be shady even if I don't need to be. I mean, hey, it's a choice. It's interesting. It makes for entertaining television for us. But I fear that my Golden Girl love has taken a little bit of a dark turn on this season, which I'm not mad about, but it is noted.
Yeah, I think it's hard because I don't know if this All-Stars run has done great things for the Olivia Lux brand, if you will. I think that's kind of what reality TV is about, kind of figuring out your lane, who you are, and kind of doing that like with purpose, for purpose, on purpose. And I don't know if this has necessarily helped her, but I will say, as a viewer, am I entertained? Yes, I am. But it's hard. Do you stay true to your alliance if Aja has the most number of points? Like for me, giving Aja the points is like putting a hose on a house that's not on fire, where I'm like, but do you need it? You don't need it. So like for me, I'm like, then why are we doing this? And so in giving it to Deja Sky to ensure that she would give you your point, that helps you too. And so it's a very weird tangled web that we weave within the first like few minutes of episode 3.
Yeah, no, I think it's definitely crafty. I think it's the right gameplay. And honestly, as a encyclopedia of reality TV, I've always been hoping, and I noticed that production is always trying to implement little tools to make gameplay more of a thing for Drag Race. And it's difficult because people don't really instinctually want to make alliances or vote each other out of Drag Race. They're there to win and compete, and I get that. But also, you have to make it different every time. Every All-Stars has a different mechanic of the game. And I do appreciate that when the girls who use those tools are using them. Like I'm like, thank you for recognizing the drama instinct and going for it.
This is really what we see in Phoenix giving her point away, it feels very much like she's been away from the show for too long because she got no points, and that poor lady looked around like, alliances? Are we doing alliances? And I'm like, girl, you knew this.
When I mean, we all reality shows have this element kind of built into it. Any game reality show, right? So she shouldn't be taken too off guard. I think that the melanin component, though, is probably something that she was not expecting. That's something that's just a mainstay in reality TV, right? We kind of have this instinctual tribalism in us just as human beings that when you show up on a show and there's people who are most like you, you're inclined to align with them early on in a game. We've seen that on Big Brother. We've seen it all across the board, especially, famously the cookout on Big Brother, which was like excellent gameplay on top of the mission, right? So that was executed beautifully. But also in seasons following, there was like, well, are there lots of groups of people of color working together? And is it bad to even say that? And why wouldn't someone assume that? So I think Phoenix kind of misstepped by kind of like, it all got set up before her. Also, she's a low energy, low impact person in general for games like this. So I think the game just got out in front of her before she realized, oh, everyone set all this up beforehand, and I am white. So I'm out of points on this one.
I am older and whiter than everything else that's happening right now. Yeah, totally. I think that is really what we're all kind of looking forward to see. Like, I don't think you can go into Survivor season 50 as a member of the old era without doing your research on the new era. I think that like there are the game has changed. It's no longer just about like fight the hunger and don't get voted off. So much more is happening. And it feels like Phoenix is an old era player playing in a new era game, and it is not working in her favor.
No, she's gonna turn to dust. I respect her, glad she's back around, but she ain't got a chance in hell on this show.
True. All right, so after we give out the points, we have Bosco 4 points, Irene the Alien 4 points, Aja 3 points, Deja Sky 3 points, Olivia Lux 3 points, and Phoenix with 1 point. Let's just hop right into the challenge. So getting into this challenge, we have our first official makeover challenge. We are going to be making over these professional hoopers that all play college women's basketball. What are your views on this makeover challenge? Only because every year I'm like, how are they going to find some new way of doing this? And I was really impressed that they went this way.
I like it. So here's my little pedestal for something like this. So I think drag is for everyone, right? I really, as someone who worked on We're Here, that was like one of our main cornerstones in our mission was drag is for everyone, and we want to reflect that in the casting and the execution of all the drag shows. Now, we have seen a slower evolution on Drag Race with that idea, but I do think they've been doing it at incremental times that are very noteworthy when it happens. There was the longest time they weren't casting openly trans people on there. So like, and now we're here to where we're doing all kinds of different stuff, one cast member at a time, right? Like one season, one cast member at a time. We're opening up that world, and I like seeing cis women do drag. There's so many cis women that, I mean, my mom's one of them, that are like, oh, I would just love an afternoon with a drag queen and learn makeup tips and see how things sparkle. And, like that, I mean, look at the drag brunches. They're half filled with cis women, or more sometimes. So I think there's absolutely a doorway for that. And I'm glad they took it.
Yeah, I think that for me, what a lot of people don't really understand about the makeover challenge is I want a drag race winner that can be successful in a makeover challenge, because I think the true purpose of it is to do exactly what you said and open up drag to everyone so that you understand. I have never been in drag in my whole life. No makeup, no lace front wig or whatever else, but I still feel seen and included in knowing that anyone can have the confidence, the charisma, uniqueness, nerve, and talent of a drag queen. And it's really about being able to transfer that energy to other people. My least favorite makeover challenges of all time is when they make over girls that were already on the show, because I'm like, yeah, they already understand it. But in really getting to see them make over straight men or cis women or their own parents so that they can get a greater understanding, the idea that you can be an accounting bro, a finance bro, and still kill that presentation and slay the girls. That you can be a cashier at Piggly Wiggly and be like, sale clearance, aisle 4, and slay the girls. Like, I love that. And that's what I think a good makeover challenge is about.
I agree. I mean, all drag is valid. Not all drag is good. And that is a lesson that is also inherent with opening up drag for all. And I think that's a thing that is very important to remember. And I love, a sporty basketball moment. That was fun. I loved all the like, oh, we're gonna throw baskets. Watching drag queens play sports is inherently funny. So I think that really opened up for that. I like a new twist on a standard challenge, and I think they nailed it on that.
Wait, can we talk about the athleticism displayed in the mini challenge? Now I know that was a lot of good editing. And I'm going to tell you this, on Deal or No Deal Island, we had an axe throwing challenge that made it look like we were hitting axes left and right. That challenge took us 2 days to get through. So I know that all the free throw shots that they had, they probably missed half of them, and then they only show. But that was still a lot for that small amount of time. Like, that was more than I could do.
I mean, when Deja Sky got 4, I literally thought, oh my God, did she just win? That was like my barometer. I was like, 4 from Deja Sky is huge in my mind. But for them to get like 6, 7, 8, 9 or whatever, I really was like, kudos, ladies. Kudos.
I was impressed. Yet again, Irene pulls it out of nowhere, like literally proving that, like, we don't know her, which is great. I love the fact that we don't know any of her skill set, anything that she can do other than be successful. So she wins our mini challenge, and she gets to pick which girl she has, which girl everyone else has. So here is my view on this, my hot take. Do you think she played it correctly, or how would you play it if you got to pair people together for a makeover challenge?
Yeah, for this challenge in this moment, I probably would have done what she did, which was not rock any major boat. I already know I'm kind of a front runner, right? Hopefully, at least in terms of performing. I don't know if those points will all work out for anyone, because it really is anybody's game still. But if I was Irene, I'd be like, hey, I'm showing up, I'm showing out, I'm killing it. I'm going to be chill. I'm not going to piss anyone off. And I'm going to assign who I think would genuinely be the best match. I'm going to cast the best match for my sisters. And I think she did the right thing on that. Is it less entertaining for us when the queens do that? Sure. But like, it makes for a solid entry from everyone in the challenge.
I have a shady hot take on this. If
Can't
it
wait.
were me, I would always pair the queens with the girls that look the least like them. And because I have always seen, it's very common that queens have put other people in drag before, but it's hard. Like, even you will admit, it's hard to get good Caucasian queen makeup, good queen of color makeup on someone that you are not used to get those skin tones, those contours, those foundations. I'm going to make those girls work for it. I'm going to make sure that all their girls look the exact opposite, so that they're like, okay, wait, I want to do my makeup, but it doesn't work the same way. I'm going to give myself whatever advantage I can.
Yeah, no, I mean, which would be a fair thing to do if someone was doing it. Also, it's interesting to note that you're into colorism. That's good, noted. Like, you're pro colorism. I love learning more and more about you, Phillip. You're such a layered onion. I'm enjoying getting to know your shadiness, even in this realm.
I'm dead. I'm just. I am number one, a competitor. I am a competitor,
Sure.
And so, with that said, I believe that is the best way to compete. So we do the makeover. We get into the looks. Nothing too crazy in the workroom per se. But what are your views on our poor girl that says, shave my eyebrows, I'm all about it? What are your views on this?
Never do that willingly. Literally make them make you do it. You do not want to shave your eyebrows unless it's literally like, no, you're doing it. If you can save them, because they will never come back the same. I've had so many friends that have been like, oh, let me just shave them for like Halloween drag or whatever. Oh, I'm just doing it a one-off for fun. they've taken months and months and months and months and months to come back to normal. Don't do it unless they make you.
Now, you know this way better than I do. Is shaving your eyebrows for drag a trend? And I'm going to tell you why I'm asking.
Mhm.
They really didn't do it in seasons like 1 through 9 or so. Then there was that span of a few years where every queen walked in, confessionals, no eyebrows. Now they're back to having eyebrows again. Is there like a drag trend where that like
I don't
comes
know
and
if there
goes?
is or not. I mean, I think it's probably just a matter of personal preference. I know from my little knowledge on the We're Here drag of it all, they it really was depending on what look that the queen was going for to put on that person's face. And more often than not, they elected not to shave the eyebrow. They did that glue stick trick, which is supposed to kind of, it smooths over the eyebrow and kind of gives you the same illusion when you're putting makeup on. So I don't think it's always necessary. But if you're like a professional drag queen and that's a choice you want to do, hey, go for it. That it probably is easier for you. But if you're just putting someone in drag as a makeover moment, I don't think you need to.
Swear, we love that. All right, cool. So let's just jump into the looks. The looks of it all. Let's get it started with Phoenix. So I always wonder with these makeover. I just think I get scared that our girl Phoenix is relying on her one viral drag race moment to just carry her through. And I don't know if either of these looks did super well. I think that when you wear black on the runway, we've even seen in this brand new runway they've been using in the past few years, the black doesn't play as well. And there's some beautiful black gowns and dresses that we haven't seen until we see it on Instagram that we're like, oh, there were rhinestones, there was this, there was that. The black just isn't really doing it on this forum, I think.
Yeah, I hate to bring this up, but do we have a picture of that for me to remember? Are we doing pictures on this one?
Yes, the pictures are up, but I don't think you see it as well.
Oh, okay. I truly, I mean, I have amnesia from this look, I guess, because I truly, even with you describing it, I just don't remember it. It clearly wasn't memorably bad because I would have remembered that, but it's also still an issue that I don't remember. But also it could be because I'm in Palm Springs and half my brain is somewhere else.
No, I think it was the idea of like the orange jumpsuit with the prison honey written on the back, and then you took off the orange jumpsuit, and then it was like
Yes.
so black leather pedestrian. And like, number one, that was my nickname in high school. Number two, I think that it was just a matter of like, what are we doing? Like, you could get this outfit at the mall, and to be honest, in the words of RuPaul, I don't want to see any H&M on this runway.
Well, that's always a great comment. I love that. You know, the hair, the neck up, they nailed, and the neck down was forgettable. Because it took me a minute until you said the honey or whatever it was. Then it popped into my brain. Yeah, it was just fine.
Right. It would have even made her in the middle when she was on season, what was that, 3? She still would have been in the middle then. Still, like, it just was not going to blow anyone else away. All right, let's continue on to Irene the Alien. Irene the Alien and this poor girl that thought she was going to get the runway America's Next Top Model beatdown of a lifetime. And Irene said, what about a space clown? And you could see the spirit float out of her body. And I felt so bad for her. But I do appreciate the fact that she was like, well, look at the scores. Obviously, she knows what she's doing. So I'm just going to let her do what she does. And it paid off.
I mean, it looked great. I forget which judge said something about, oh, this looks like out of French Vogue, I think maybe. It did have a classiness to it. And sometimes when you do drag and it's like match colors, my brain kind of tunes out of that. But this I liked. It was like, it wasn't like black and white. It was like silver glitter and black. And I enjoyed the artistry behind it for sure.
I think it was a really elevated version of what Susie Toot tried to do last season, where you get to see what it looks like to be a clown and still high fashion and serve a look and understand the dimensions, the small waist, the big shoulder. Like, you still understand it, which is great.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, let's get into the Bosco of it all. I thought this was everything easily for me, the looks of the night.
I mean, she's really killing it. I genuinely think she is a front runner to win the entire show. I'm confident she'll get the points that she needs to on this because she's just going to win herself there. No one's going to have to give her points if they don't want to on this. She'll win them. And I love seeing an old favorite blossom and elevate even more, right? Because she was great on her original season and very memorable. And I remember thinking, oh, she might have it to win. And to see her come back and be so on target and so just 100% nailing it every time. It's so crisp. Everything she does is very crisp and calculated and beautiful. So I really enjoyed this look 1000%.
I think that for me is what makes a good drag queen, especially on a show like this where it's so oversaturated. At this point, in the game, you need to be paying attention to details, appliques, every hair counts, every wig count. We're no longer at that point where we can go, well, from the neck down, it looks great and you still do well. No, it needs to be head to toe. The shoes, the hair, all of it needs to be on point.
Totally.
All right. And moving into this Tinkerbell disaster. Okay, Aja, here's the thing. She is a ballroom girl, but also take these outfits back to Candyland, to Party City where they belong. I don't know what this was, but it wasn't good.
Yeah, here's the thing. Aja rides on her personality and her charisma. She is the true meaning of like the charisma, uniqueness, nerve, and talent. She has all those things. I don't know if always the drag is on point for me. You know what I realized since our very first episode? Neither you, neither me, nor Eureka mentioned or noticed this. Did you know that Aja's looks, those 3 looks throughout that episode, were all from Pokemon? They were all
okay. I saw that on Instagram, but I wasn't sure if it was true or just a weird coincidence.
I mean, I feel like it's. I looked at it and I feel like it's real. I feel like it's I mean, it's too coincidental to not be real, I would imagine. Now I need confirmation because I was like, oh, well, I understand why I didn't get it because I think Pokemon is a red flag for you have parent issues and you never grew up. But I thought, oh, well, at least that gives me some sort of blueprint for what she was doing on episode 1.
Listen,
if I have to think about it too much, I'm out. I like the performance, but the look I don't get.
That episode 1 lip sync outfit, if that is any indication of what the Wicked sequel is going to look like, I'm here for it because between that blonde and that lime green, I was like, you know what? Yes, Ariana, Cynthia, give it to us. I'm ready. I'm surprised that they weren't the guest judge on that episode, being like, yep, this is it.
That's so funny. That did look like something out of the sequel. Right. Or something Ariana. It's like Aja ripped off Ariana's closet from.
But never that blonde wig. Prison Honey. Not that Shrek Duloc blonde wig ever.
It was
bad. With that said, the wings were falling off. The drapery from the arm was a disaster. Having an argument with the wigs, with the Party City wigs. So I'm like, just stick to good lip sync performances. I'm okay with that. Cool. Great.
Yeah, she needs a little brush up on the execution of her ideas in drag. Not that I'm the one to give it to her, because I certainly don't do drag. I'm just a really well-versed critic.
Very well. No, it looks like a community theater version of drag. And I'm like, no, baby, we are on Broadway. It's time.
It is. It's community theater. You're right.
All right. Speaking of community theater, Deja Skye. I will say this photo makes it look better than it did in real time as it moved along. My problem is, and I can say this as someone who has lost a dramatic amount of weight. For those of you guys that did not watch me on my show, I kind of talked about my story. I was pretty overweight for like most of my life. I dropped like 40 pounds my senior year of high school, and I just like trained myself through it. Went from like a size extra large to a small, like a 36, 37 waist to a 28. Like I did the work. And it's one of the hard things about losing weight is learning how to dress yourself again. You have to actually figure out your new angles, your new everything. And I think I love Deja Skye, this newfound confidence and swagger and the makeup, the mug, the hair. Great. We still don't know how to dress our new bodies. This is not it.
Yeah, like I said, I always love her energy and I love her ideas. I do think that There is something in this weight loss discussion that is missing though for me. And it dawned on me, I was chatting with a friend and we were just kind of like perusing, the drag race of it all. I think they could go a little bit deeper because I remember when they asked like, well, why'd you do the surgery? She was like, well, I don't really know. I just did. I felt like I needed to do it. Girl, I know the cameras are rolling, but now's the time to really be honest. We should be talking about how, hey, you know what? Being fat made me feel bad. People made me feel bad. I didn't feel good because I felt unwanted. I didn't feel good because I didn't feel good enough. Even on this show, we don't really celebrate the fat girls as well as we should be. There's been so many fat girl deserving winners. Not one of them has happened. The one season that it was supposed to happen, I think, in casting, the big girl crapped out early because she got canceled from all Sherry Pie and all her fucking HBO casting director bullshit. I mean, she had the gusto to have won that season, and then you can't let her go after that story. So like, Deja Skye, I think, is doing the conversation a disservice by not really going deeper, to be perfectly honest, because there is something really raw and powerful in talking about it in that way, and I haven't seen that yet. But it was nice enough. She also doesn't have a chance. She's right up there with Phoenix. She's not going to win this round of nothing.
Yeah, the way that this fabric was draped out of nowhere, just all the lines, all the angles, I'm so sorry. It looks like at a bathhouse when you like half have a towel on and you half don't. That's what it looked like. That I was like, clean yourself up. This is not it, mama. This is not it. And so with that said, who said this is a good line to accentuate the hip? Let's just make this little washcloth thing come halfway down the ass. And this poor girl that got the makeover that I was like, but she's blonde. Put her in the blonde wig. Instead, you have her out here looking like a Costco Acacia Forgot for no reason, for none reasons. And that's a disservice to everybody involved. Thoughts and prayers to this poor girl.
I agree. I hate when someone who's like on one episode for like a makeover gets like the clearly you're gonna lose drag queen. Like, oh, you're walking into certain doom, but well, have a good time.
The shoes don't even match. Like again, I've never done drag, but the thing is, make the shoes match or make them don't match at all. But if you get close, and I'm like, nah, okay, I'm out.
Yeah, totally.
And we got one more, Olivia Lux. I love the dresses, but my question for you, and because I thought this personally, is it too easy? And by that, I mean, if you take the dresses off, was there really a makeover at all? Or did she just happen to bring two dresses that complemented each other that were cute?
Here's the thing. I do tend to agree with you on that. But also here's the other thing, is if it works, it works. And I think this look coming down the runway really did work. Anytime you lean into whatever your background, culture, etc. is, and even if it is simple and it shines, I think that's a deservingly positively reviewed look. And I do think she was close. She was in the top on this with these two because it did look stunning. The silhouette was great, and you had a clear Black culture voice coming forward down the runway. So I liked it.
Her makeover partner looked like. Did you watch Canada last season? She looked like Michaela.
I missed that season.
Okay, so Michaela was a makeover girl that started doing drag on her own afterward, then came back to the competition to compete. Yes.
Oh, what a great storyline that is.
It was a good story. Yeah, no, like it was really, really good. All right, so we get our top two. And wait, actually, I have a quick question for you, just based on your history kind of with the show. Do they get kind of what the makeover challenge is going to be in advance? Because my question is, let's say they got all beautiful, voluptuous, plus size women. None of these outfits that they brought would have potentially been able to like hit them. So they have to have like a little bit of a heads up, right?
Yeah, that's a good question. So it is my understanding, because I have not worked on Drag Race itself, but I've heard enough and have had enough colleagues, and I just through osmosis know enough. But it is my guess that the queens do get like a rundown of challenges to be prepared for. Like, you know, everyone knows you have to have your snatch game ready, right?
Right.
Like
Yeah.
everyone knows that's a thing you prepare ahead of time. They also are like, hey, this is going to be the like backwards and forwards runway, or
Right.
the light and dark runway, or the Stevie Nicks runway. So they know that going in. They don't know what order it's in though, and they don't know how that's going to be implemented. But they get a list of like, here are looks you need to have getting ready, so that they have in their little, you know, box of tricks, they're able to come and do their stuff. So I don't know exactly the specifics of how much and when they get to know, but they do get to know something.
Yeah, because all the looks they brought were like a size 2, maybe a 4. That I was like, okay, so what if they said you're making over these firefighters, these big police? Like, I just feel like they had to have some kind of like
they would be given a
indication
heads
along the
up
way.
for sure.
Yeah. All right, so we get to our top 2 in surprising news to no one. Bosco and Irene once again are your top 2. Again, is that well deserved for you? It's well deserved for me.
I think so. I think they're the two most consistent. Pardon me. They're the two most consistent girls that are showing this season so far. I think that third place top slot could go in any direction depending on the points and how it goes. But I do think Irene and Bosco, they're showing up, they're throwing down, and they're executing everything real perfectly.
Yes, I think that truly in these past 3 episodes, they have been head and shoulders as far as like knowing the details and consistency. Like that's what we look for. I don't want to see you drop off and come back and drop off again. Like I want to see you be consistently good. And that to me was my issue last season with both Jules and Susie. Like I feel like they had ups and downs, and Anya was pretty consistent all the way through. And I was like, yeah, that's what I want. I want you to be good from the beginning. So with that said, they hit our lip sync. Jennifer Hudson, Pocketbook. Did you know this song?
I didn't know this song at all.
I knew this song word for word, but it was from like 2010 that I was like, who did they pay off to pull this song from the archive? The last time I heard it, I was working in Abercrombie and Fitch or Abercrombie Kids. I don't remember. And like, that's how I learned that song because it was playing in the store. And I was like, what is this?
That's great. Yeah, no, I didn't know. I mean, I know Jennifer Hudson-ish, but it made me think, oh, maybe Jennifer Hudson is having a moment somewhere, you know, in pulp culture right now. Like, is she on Broadway again? Like, I wasn't sure. But I did not know that song. I was like, okay, well, this is cool, I guess. But they nailed it. I mean, they did great, you know.
If you want to really get like a time capsule lockdown of that song, look up the video. It's Jennifer Hudson and Ludacris, and it is the most 2000s thing you've ever seen in your whole life. And you're like, yep, tracks.
Amazing.
I understand exactly what's happening.
I will look into that. The next time I'm on my phone, doom scrolling, I'll go, hey, you know what? Let's take a break and look that up.
Right? So Irene does finally win a lip sync, which is nice. To be honest, do I think Irene deserved to win this lip sync? No. Do I think she deserved to win a lip sync before we left? Yes. So I do understand why Ru was like, it was pretty even. So you can win one as well.
Well, now you're thinking like a producer. It's always a producer's call, right?
Always.
And I mean, I saw so much when I was working on Project Runway. There was so many times where it was like the top 2 or top 3 looks and dresses. And literally the judges were like, well, we like them all. Like there's always like a little chatter before announcing a winner back behind the scenes, right? And always when it was too close, the head showrunners, the head producers would be like, well, we need this person, or this person should win now, or for whatever the reason was, there was a discussion, and there's always a why. So like, yeah, it was time for you to win one. Yeah, no problem. Here's some points.
So at the end of the episode, we have our 2 pretty obvious frontrunners making it out of this bracket, unless, let's say, all the girls decide to throw their votes onto one girl and throw them up. Sure, great. But the odds are we know that that is not going to happen. So everyone has to give out their MVQ point on stage, which, to be honest, I thought they should have been doing that the whole time. But okay, cool, great, easy. We go through Aja that gives hers to Deja Sky. We have Olivia that gives hers to Aja. There's this guy that gives hers to, yeah. So we really end up with Phoenix as your deciding vote, which do you think she knew she was going to be the deciding vote, or do you think the producers were like, hey, in this confessional, we need you to say one of you is going to get my vote, and it's going to, because she made that call at the beginning of the episode.
I think it was discussed, so that's been planted in her mind that you can't shaft the bottom girl too hard, because she's going to have some power in this game. Like, her point is still going to matter eventually. So I do think, just in terms of doing what happens often when you're doing an interview one-on-one with a cast member, the person who's interviewing will sometimes fold little kernels of truth or seeds to be planted just in how they phrase the question, right? They're not telling you what to think or how, but they're green light, they're kind of waking your brain up to, oh, these are some of the talking points that I need to kind of consider as I deliver my answers. And I'm sure that was threaded into a question at some point of like, hey, do you think, you might have some power down the road? So now that she's fully awakened to it, she's not going to win, but she will have a say.
You are not wrong. So with that said, we leave the episode with Aja, Deja Skye, and Olivia Lux all being tied for the same amount, and Phoenix gets the deciding vote, ultimately giving her point to Aja, which I think, in given the span of 3 episodes, makes sense. I think that if there were someone else that was consistently right there in almost every challenge, cool, great. I loved it. So our 3 leaving this bracket successful: Bosco, Irene the Alien, and Aja. I think we can both say, even from our commentary, we agree. They called it correctly. It was pretty fair and down the middle. So I have some big general questions to ask before we wrap up.
Sure.
For you, are you loving this style of All-Stars? Personally, I think that 6 queens are so much more digestible than 12, because we're like, why are they not getting a confessional? Why are they not? And you're reading so much into it. I love the 6. What are your views on this?
I do like a pared down number. Does help us concentrate on everyone and give everyone, equal time to be enjoyed. I don't know. My jury's out still on if I like the structure of this All-Stars. I'm curious to see how it all plays out. I have an open mind about it. I like the point system and giving that to people. I don't know if I love 18 queens with 3 different sections of 6. I don't know how that will go. I'm curious about it. I don't think it's a structure that's been tested and proven. So we'll see. I just feel like there's going to be a lot of clearly I don't want to say losers, because everyone's a winner. You're on All-Stars. But there's just a lot of queens that are clearly not going to go to the end, in my opinion. And they're all very strategically grouped, right? You don't see you don't see Plain Jane with Ginger Minge, and you don't see everyone. Here's this power 6. You're like, here's a power 4 with 2 people who are definitely not going to make it, and let's see what happens. So that is very calculated.
One thing I do love is the 3 challenges that they had. I think what's great about even our 3 girls leaving the bracket is that any of the 3 of them can win, depending on the kind of winner that Ru wants at the end. And I love that, because I hate when it's all the theater queens or all the look queens or all the whatever. I think between Irene, Bosco, and Aja, you're getting 3 different girls that could win for their own respective reasons, which I think is really again, not to bring it back to other reality, but that's the problem we're having with Survivor right now. It's going to be hard to get to the end and be able to differentiate yourself from anyone else, because they're all so similar. And so right now, I love the fact that we have these 3 queens that excel at 3 very different things.
Yeah, no, I think all 3 of them are very solid, and I'm glad that they're the ones rising to the top.
Amazing. Well, next week we get the ball. We get a ball, meaning that they need to create more than one look. It's seeming very much like we're going to get some kind of fashion design challenge, some kind of comedy challenge, then maybe some kind of girl group performance challenge. I hope we keep that pretty consistent, because again, I think consistency is the key on a show like this, where you have it broken down. You want to make sure that all the girls got to show what they have. And I think that they would need to just kind of find different ways of doing the same 3, but find something new along with it.
Yes.
Who are you looking forward to seeing the most in the next bracket?
Refresh my memory. Who's the next bracket?
Ooh, that is Carrie, Colby, Mistress, and then I stopped paying attention because those are my top
Those
two.
are your two.
That is Lydia, Collins. We're getting a lot of fan favorites in the next one.
Okay, well, Mistress is definitely a favorite of mine. I think she is very funny. That season she was on, I'm forgetting who the winner was because she was my hope and favorite. It was one of my more lackluster seasons I remember being kind of underwhelmed by, but I loved her. I think she's great. And I do think she's shady in all the right ways and still funny, and she gives big girl glamour. And I think she could be a contender, especially in her bracket. I don't know about the show, but I think for her bracket, she's going to be one of the strong ones.
Okay, I have it here. I don't think you're ready for this because I wasn't ready until I fully understood what we are about to receive. So we are about to receive Tina Burner, Nicole Page Brooks, Carrie Colby, Georges, Mistress, and Lydia Butthole Collins. I don't know what's going to happen on this.
Yeah, no, there's some strong curveballs on there. Well, I do hear through the grapevine that Lydia does great. And Mistress and Georges are strong instinctual favorites of mine. But also, Tina Burner could come back and be better than ever. I knew her from when I lived in New York, just as, like a local queen doing her thing. And I think she underperformed on her season.
Agreed.
In the same way that Britta Filter underperformed in her season.
Agreed, yes.
Those are girls that are amazing on stage. I remember seeing in the clubs when I was like a New York City girl. So they could have went, hey, you know what? That loss really killed me. I should have done better on my first season. Let me dial it up just like Irene the Alien has. And Tina could come out of nowhere and really kill it. So we'll see. I mean, it's definitely a less clear division than in this particular one we're watching.
Agreed.
I think Irene was the surprise for us in this round. But other than that, it's playing out exactly how I thought this section would. But the next one could give a surprise. So we'll see.
Yep. I am ready for the surprises. I'm ready for the energy. I'm ready for brand new girls, new entrance looks. We will be here for you next week, hitting episode number 4 of All Stars 10. I am here for it. The charisma, uniqueness, nerve, and talent. Have an amazing time in Palm Springs, Jeffrey. I've never been there before. I feel like I need to swing through. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to throw my Speedo on. I'll meet you there in a few hours. I got you.
Sounds good. I'll be here at the pool.
All right, guys. Have an amazing week, and we will see you next week here on the Reality After Show. Bye.